Welcome back to the She Inspires podcast. I'm your host, Dr. J, board certified family medicine physician, wellness and weight loss specialist, owner of the Las Vegas membership medical practice Inspire Primary Care, and I am so excited for today's topic. It is building a business and a brand. Y'all know the She Inspires podcast is the space for busy women balancing business and wellness together. If you are a busy professional woman and you have a service or a product that would benefit the She Inspires fam, reach out to our team to become a sponsor of the She Inspires podcast. We would love to get your business out there to the women who could really benefit from your services. I have a special guest today, y'all, and it is my friend Ladora. We are talking building a business and a brand. I am so excited to have you in the podcast. Welcome to the She Inspires podcast, Ladora Fields.
Well, thank you, Dr. J. I am honored and grateful and appreciative for you having me today.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. So, we recently went to lunch. We've become friends, y'all, through social media. So please, Instagram be gramming. If you get on and you're actually social with people and you actually interact with them and you feel people who seem like they have a good vibe that may match up with your vibe and you want to support what they're doing and learn more about them, reach out and ask them if they want to get together for lunch, get to know new people. It's amazing. And so that's been our story. So I've gotten to know you, but tell the She Inspires fam who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Ladora J. Fields. I'm originally from Philly.
Yes.
So I try to keep that roots. But I'm a real estate professional here in Las Vegas. And my goal is to serve my clients into home ownership and to maximize my seller profits.
I love that. Okay, so we're going to get so much juicy details out of this, y'all, because your girl is trying to be a real estate investor, so I'm going to be asking questions for me, okay, but I'll be asking questions for y'all, too. So you are really a woman who inspires me. I just have to tell you, like you told me at lunch that I inspire you. No, you inspire me. I love seeing women, especially women, just owning their brand, building their business, being true to their personality, and just being excellent, striving for excellence in what they are called to do and how they are called to serve. So while I know nothing about selling houses, I love seeing your real estate content. I love seeing how you network in the community. It's really inspiring. So first, tell us about your journey into entrepreneurship.
My journey began almost probably like 7 or 8 years ago. It honestly came, I was in a restaurant business and I was just like, this ain't it. I want to do something more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And my best friend was an investor.
Okay. And
I learned from her. And from there I said, okay, cool. And when I got to Vegas, I got into wanting homeowners to achieve that goal. Because you hear it, but you don't know how,
right,
and you don't know where, and then you don't know how much it costs. So my brand is also built on education.
Yes.
When you leave me at the end of the transaction, you're going to be able to say, I know every step that I was in, and there was nothing my realtor didn't answer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So you started off in the restaurant industry, and what was the turning point where you were like, I know it wasn't it. You knew that that wasn't the industry you were called to. And I want to encourage those who are listening that may be in a field that they thought that this was it, and it's just not looking like that's it now that they're in it, that it doesn't have to be your end all be all. So tell us a little bit more about the transition. Like, what was the light bulb moment where you were like, it's real estate, and then how you got into it and you were like, yes, this is what I'm called to do?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. My turning point was we were doing inventory one night, and all of my colleagues was doing everything but inventory.
Okay.
And so I remember leaving at night and just sending an email when I got home, and my husband now was just like, babe, you love helping people. What else do you want to do? And my best friend was an investor, like I said, and I saw her investing into the community that I lived in. But the difference was she was actually renting them out to college kids. Something that I witnessed was a lot of older generations in my community, what happened to them was they wasn't able to keep their homes because of the taxes went up.
Okay.
And so when I sell homes now, I would say, Dr. J, this is your taxes today, but we need to think 3 years, 5 years. Always put an extra $50 to $100 aside, because I witnessed gentrification happen. But I also witnessed wealth being built through that same mechanism for my best friend. And I wanted to become a part of the solution rather than a part of the problem.
Okay. And so that's really good because you hear about gentrification, but I don't necessarily know like how that looks, how you need to prepare for it, how you prevent it. Do you just have to move and up and move? So it's amazing to have people like you who are passionate about that can really help along this journey. So and I love that you share about the transition and the light bulb moment. This is something I haven't shared on the podcast before, but when I was a little girl, starting at 4 years old, I used to say I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor. Of course, so many people, little brown girl from Chicago, nobody in my family was a doctor. They thought that was cute, a little joke, and they would tell me all these other things I should be. Well, have you thought about, no offense to anybody listening to this that are in any of these amazing career fields, but have you thought about nursing? Have you thought about physical therapy? Have you thought about these other areas of healthcare? Every time I would say doctor, someone else would say something else, right? And God kept showing me physician, that's what he kept showing me. And then when I got to college, it was a family member. I'm not going to say who it was because they were really doing it out of love. It wasn't because this person in particular, it wasn't because they didn't believe in me, but they just wanted to protect me. They didn't want me to pick a dream that they thought was too big for me. And so he told me, have you thought about pharmacy school? Like that's still considered a doctor. It's still a really respected profession. Like think about pharmacy. And I changed my mind and I started off at UNLV as a pre-pharmacy student, and I was saying I'm going to be a pharmacist. So I got a job during college at the CVS. Shout out to the CVS. Oh my gosh, I just went past Lake Mead and Martin Luther King recently, and it's gone, y'all. It's been bought out. Yeah. But there used to be a CVS right there, and I was the pharmacy tech there. And when I was there, I was just like, I love y'all pharmacists, but counting them pills just wasn't for me. I was like, I want to carve into cadavers. I want to be caring for bodies in different medical settings, And so the pharmacist actually encouraged me, like, what do you want to do? It sounds like you want to be more on the patient care. It sounds like you need to go to med school.
Yeah.
And he encouraged me to go back to my original dream of being a physician. And so I'm thankful for that journey, but I just tell people, like, you don't have to have it all figured out up front. And although I started pre-pharmacy, I switched to pre-med during undergrad. And so I love that you were brave enough. It takes some bravery to like start down a path, and especially if you've invested in one career, not only time but money, to say, no, I want to do something different. I'm called to something else. So I love that you shared that. Now, in addition to being an amazing businesswoman, you are also an amazing wife, and I love during our lunch I got to hear so much about your amazing husband and wifehood. So share the journey of growing a business and a marriage, because so often another thing I was often told is, well, you're gonna have to pick one, honey. You're not gonna be able to. How you gonna have a husband if you're gonna be a doctor? Like those two things, people have their limiting beliefs, right?
Yes.
And what they believe they can do, they can project on what they think you can do. And so tell the audience, what has that looked like growing your business while also being an amazing wife?
You know what? I became an entrepreneur. I became a real estate professional right at COVID. Mm-hmm. Got my license here. COVID happened. Literally 3 months. I paid my realtor dues, and COVID shut down. And I give credit to my husband because without him, I probably couldn't be here today. Mm-hmm. He was the one that said, no matter what happens, you're going to invest in your business. You're going to get a mentor. He put the money behind the early start of this. And I credit him because it was hard. We're 2,700 miles away from family. We're in this new city. We're locked down. We barely could see people. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing tours. I'm doing interviews over Zoom, right? But he was so supportive, and now I look at it 4 years later, I could not stand here without him. Building a marriage is tough. They say your first 5 years is tough, right? Mm-hmm. So I got married in 2019, November. COVID happened, a new agent in a new city, and I thank God. I think the biggest thing was he said, put God first and we would be okay. Yeah. Having that faith, and faith is believing in the unseen. Yeah. And every step, just having the faith, it will work out. Building my business, he was the one behind the cameras, like, nope, we got to get this film. Let's go. Mm-hmm. He's the one, to this day, I always joke, if I sell you a house, don't worry, my husband will help us if we need him. He has carried moving boxes and everything. He'll get off of work and I'll say, hi, babe. And he's like, what do I need to do? Mm-hmm. And he already know. And it's just honestly believing, having faith, and understanding that it's not you two against each other, but going against everything else meant to destroy you.
That's good. I love that. I hear part of what you're saying is a solid foundation.
Yes.
And that was such an important part of our courtship with Carlos and I. Is like, what is our foundation? A foundation in God was very important for us. And then being on that same team, like my husband and I, one of the things we do on the side is actually marital counseling. And when we talk to different couples that we counsel, we tell them, like, y'all have the same jersey on. You know, like so many times as we go through the hardships of life and the hardships of marriage, it starts looking like you're the Lakers and I'm Golden State. But it's like, no, the jerseys match, okay? One may be the forward. Okay, y'all, I don't know basketball, so don't crucify me.
It's just
but
communication.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm like, but I'm going to get my reference out. One may be the point guard, and then one may be the forward. I think those are two real
I'll put it like
positions.
this. It's doing the figure 8 down the court
Yes.
to get that layup.
Help me
That's
out.
exactly what it... I used
Yes.
to play basketball, so
I'll
don't worry.
Well, okay, this is a whole nother podcast episode, but I didn't make the basketball team. Everybody told me I was tall, so I was supposed to play basketball. I went out there, I didn't make the team, so I became a cheerleader. So they were like, why don't you try cheer?
Oh, no.
So I don't know my basketball references, but yes. I know an alley-oop, right? That needs 2 people. But all of these references are just... We're not cutting this out.
I'm glad you didn't become a basketball player because we wouldn't have a great doctor like you.
Exactly. WNBA wasn't for me. But, you know, I'm calling out Aja Wilson to eventually be on this podcast.
Okay, yeah. Podcast cannot play. We can't play against it.
No, ma'am. Podcast. Yeah. Interview. But seriously, though, so the teamwork of it all and being that support with each other. I'm glad you shared that. So thank you for sharing that because many women that are listening to the podcast, they may be in their season of really just focusing on their career, and they may want to one day be married, or they may be trying to transition from dating to marriage. And it's just helpful to hear how other women in that season of life are doing it. And then some women may already be married and be like, it's a struggle season, I don't know how.
Communication.
Yes,
communication. My husband's the whole opposite. I'm not gonna lie, I become a firecracker at times. And I remember the first time he said you either talk to me like you got sense, or we're not going to talk right now.
Right.
And that was the first thing. And when I talk to my husband, I say, Ladora, you got to get your words together, and it has to come across clear. And if I can't find my words, I write it down. Okay. I'm a better writer with my feelings, and I tell any woman or any husband, figure out your method of communication, and that's work.
Yeah.
Communication, if you don't have that, it's going to be so hard.
Yeah, and figuring out what works for each other.
Yeah.
And what works well. Okay, so in addition to, being an amazing wife, let's chat business. Because what led you into real estate, we've chatted about and we've talked about, but now we're here, right? We've done the journey into growing your real estate business. Yes. And so tell us about that journey of going from an idea to a business to a brand.
Yes. My business started on social media. Okay. I'm not from Vegas, so how was I going to get clients, right?
Specifically Instagram or multiple?
Instagram.
Okay.
People say open houses, that's fine, but I like people to know my personality. So it started from Instagram, and everybody starts with 1 follower. Mm-hmm. The people you see with 200,000 followers, you started with 1 follower. Yeah. My Instagram is my community, just like yours. Mm-hmm. So people started following me. They see me. They see my personality. And I always tell them, I'm who you see. And we went to lunch, and you see I'm the same person. Figuring out who is your target audience and building a community, then the brand comes. Yeah. Then you start learning. So when people see Ladora J. Fields, they know education. They're going to get the house tours. I show my life sometimes.
Yeah, they're going to get fabulous and some amazing red hair.
Yeah, and then what I also did was when I showed that I love to cook and everything like that, they know on Sundays I'm a Costco girl. Okay. Catch me at Costco's, free samples. Okay. And I don't look like this. I look a little different. Yes. But they learned who I was. And when you build a brand, that's also your identity. That's what people know. The red hair. When people see me, if I don't have red hair, people look at me and say, is that Ladora? Yes. And I'm like, it is. Listen, don't judge today. Yes. But it is. You start with the foundation, just like marriage. And you say, who am I building to? Who's my audience? My audience are women. Most of my buyers are women. Mm-hmm. They're doing it like you and I. Yeah. They are making 6 figures. They're high up in the chain. They know what they want. Yeah. And I'm glad because this year, it's more women buyers for homeowners than there are men. Come on. So shout out to the women.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They are leading. They are coming. Most of my women, and they're putting down 15%, 20%. They don't care to put down a 3.5. Even though they can, they are bosses in their own way.
Come on, women building wealth. And so I love that. But did you know up front that your ideal clients, like, what did it change over time? Because I think when I opened Inspire Primary Care, I had a thought of who the ideal member would be, and it has evolved after I've served people and seen who really works well with my personality, who doesn't. Yes. It's evolved. My ideal member for Inspire Primary Care. So how has that looked? How has the evolution of your ideal client looked over time?
It definitely has changed. My marketing has changed. Mm-hmm. I am a very humble person. I go back and look at the marketing compared to now.
Honey,
right?
Me too. I look back, I'm like, whoa.
My verbiage has changed. What I promote has changed. And I work with all, but I work with the people who want it. So it definitely has evolved, mm-hmm. and I'm grateful. And so even me as a business person, I've learned how to handle the buyers that come to me or the sellers. Yeah. When they come, I'm no longer afraid to say, that ain't gonna work. Yeah. It sounds good, mm-hmm. but let me tell you the cons of why everybody promotes it, but what you really need to know, the hidden costs.
That's good.
Down payment assistance. Everybody love it? Right. No. Right. It comes with a higher interest rate. Yes. So your buying power just minimized by $30,000 to $50,000. Yes, it has changed very drastically. Wow. My lenders have changed. My lenders are honest. They would say, Dr. Jade, this is what you have to do if you want that home.
Right.
Before, it was very timid. It was like, oh, if you want it. Now we are clear cut, and here we go.
Yeah. I love that, because it's the same thing in medicine where people come in and I'm like, look, if you're somebody who just wants me to prescribe you millions of pills and you don't want to work out, you don't want to be healthier, I'm probably not going to be the right fit for you, because I want to hear about your nutrition and your exercise and your sleep and prescribe medications as needed. So if you're looking for a pill for every ill, I'm not the right doctor for you, right? And so it is true, like the philosophy of the person is really, really important when we're talking about business. Yes. And so, okay, we got to chat more about branding and social media, because I know you've built your social media. You said you started on social media on Instagram. But how does that look, going from that 0 follower to it evolving into a community and building that know, that like, that trust? Tell us, start us along that journey of, okay, we're starting an Instagram account, but now this is how I sell homes.
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I would say is understanding you as a person, mm-hmm. because when we get on Instagram, there are thousands of people. And so look at the people who inspire you, see what they're doing, and go from there. But also have a clear message. Understand your colors. Like, I see people that have pink and green one day and blue and purple the next way. You can't do that, mm-hmm. because when branding, people associate you. Yeah. When you look at these businesses outside, when you see red and white, you are thinking about a specific business. Yeah. When you see a golden arch, that is branding. Yes. These are things that you have to say. It's okay to change your label, but coming down, sitting down, I say get a post board and say, okay, what do I want my colors to be? What do I want to know for? It is very hard, because we have that imposter syndrome, right? When you're not getting that automatically clicks and the likes. Mm-hmm. I have clients who have followed me from the last 4 years, just getting approved with me. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, hey, I've been following you. And I go and look, and I'm like, well, you never liked anything. Yeah. What do you mean you've been following me? Not one. Like, I can't get one comment, one like. But the people who want you, they're already going to start following mm-hmm. you. They might not say anything, but they are the ones sending it to their family. They're listening. Yeah. Even with you, I'm not going to lie. When I saw that you came from a different approach, I said, okay, literally, you need to eat a little bit more healthier. I used to be a person like, how do we fix this? Is it a pill? My husband's the opposite. Mm-hmm. He is strictly, what's the herbal? He gives me remedies, and I'm like, but darling, no. And he's like, it'll be fine. When I'm sick, I go to him. So building a brand, I think you have to understand who you are. Going from there, don't be scared. Go on a live. If one person joins, guess what? That one person needs to get your all. Yeah. I've done a home buying seminar. One person showed up. Yeah. Guess what? She got my all. Mm-hmm. And guess what? 2 days ago, she contacted me. Literally, I'm ready. This home buying seminar was from a year ago. Mm-hmm.
And despise not the day of small beginnings. Like the Bible says that for a reason. And being faithful over few, I have to remind myself of that all the time. When I had one Inspire Primary Care member, to scaling it from that to where it is now to where I want it to go, is just reminding, show up, for one like you would for
hundreds.
Thousands, exactly. And that can be discouraging. So how do you stay encouraged? Because for a lot of people listening, it's like, yeah, that sounds good. Okay, you have one like and one person show up, or you're doing content for a year and you're not selling houses. Most people are going to want to scratch it and be like, okay, do I need to sell an ad? Like, so how do you remain consistent along that journey when, honey, the magic is in the consistency? Let me tell you, if there's not one thing I learned, the magic is in the consistency. But that's reps, and that's in everything. It's with wellness, that's with business too. So how do you remain encouraged while that momentum builds slowly?
I think for me, because I was in the restaurant business and I've opened up so many restaurants at that point, I remember us having to promote and then that grand opening if nobody knew we were there.
Yeah.
So what it just said, Ladora, are you even ready to handle 5 clients at one time, 10 clients at one time? You gotta start. You start where you at. And it's like it's like a baby, right? They get up, they try to walk, and then they drop back down. So it's something like that. It's one step at a time. Can it get discouraging? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because as a business, right, we putting out money that people don't see. We're entrepreneurs. People think we got thousands and thousands of dollars.
From day one.
Yeah, they want to borrow. We like, can we borrow from you real quick?
We just had a grand opening.
Yeah, they don't even understand that. So for me, I remember the first time saying, start, continue, even if one person. And what happened? My first person came, and I market that one. I used to give champagne glasses, all clad pots and pans, all types of stuff.
Yes.
But I said to myself, you got to get ready in this season, prepare. Yeah. Because when God is ready to give it to you, it's going to come.
Yes.
And with real estate, you don't know when it's going to come. By the thankfulness, I have several escrows open right now. Early this year, I wasn't even here. And I was discouraged. I'm like, where's all my clients?
Yes.
But I had a family medical emergency. Now I'm back, and it's coming. The business is coming. I prepared during the 3 months that I wasn't here, even though people wasn't contacting me. I kept up on the market. We have new changes. You prepare in the season when nobody is contacting you because God is going to give you the fruits.
Yes, and when He moves, it's suddenly.
It's suddenly.
It's like, okay, like my backyard went from being like, okay, God, this backyard that you blessed me with, it's dirt. But my bank account doesn't say it's luxury, and I need it to be luxury. Yes. And then all of a sudden, I look back and I'm like, okay, God, it's luxury now. Like, you did that quick. And so it is being ready and being faithful and having faith and having the consistency even when it doesn't look the way you looked. And I just want to be transparent. When I opened Inspire Primary Care 2.5 years ago, I opened the doors and we had 2 people sign up, 2 members. And I showed up for them like I had 200. And now we have hundreds. And it's like, I'm about to show up for these hundreds like it's going to look when we have multiple doctors and multiple locations and thousands, right? And so it's just the season, preparing, being faithful, and being patient and being surrounded by people that support you even during those times, because entrepreneurship has ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
People do not understand that. Even when you said when your family wants you to do a different venture. Yeah. My mom, and I love this one, so you might see this, when she doesn't see me posting, because it also go about what are you posting, right? If you're not posting it, you're not doing it. Yeah. And people project. And people will say, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And I'm like, because I love it. It's something I genuinely get up to do. We come from a generation, our parents, entrepreneurship, it wasn't her. It was go to school,
paycheck and then benefits,
exactly,
and retire.
Yeah, I get to work with more people than I can ever before. When people come to me, they know that I'm going to be honest to them. I'm going to be right there. I got clients that texted me this morning. I'm like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. Yes. And even with you, when we had lunch, I got to know your reason. I went home to my husband. I said, babe, I love her even more, an admiration, and it made me think, if she can continue, I can continue. Yeah. And that's how I do it. When I look at other women continue, I'm like, you know what? It's not glitz and glams. You know this. But if they show up for themselves, you owe it to yourself.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. And that's why I love spaces where people can be transparent and share the ups and the downs, because it's like, I'm only going to go on social media, guys. Let me just tell you, when I feel like I look good and when I feel like I have energy to give some bomb energy. Like, I'm not going to go on there on the hard days and be crying with the ugly cry and, you know, when my kids are screaming and driving me crazy. And I'm not going to show you the mama that screams and pops on the hand. I'm not going to show you that, right? But just know it happens, okay?
And people relate to that. And that was a pivotal point. Thanksgiving, probably 2 years ago, I showed people me baking my sweet potato pie and brining my turkey. People's like, what does brine mean? I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, okay.
I have no idea.
It just makes your turkey juicy and more flavorful.
Got it.
But I came on there, I had my apron. Yes, I had the bonnet.
Yes, bonnet.
And
y'all not going to see me with the bonnet, period.
I was cooking a full course.
I want to see you in one, though.
You come over, I promise you. And people were tuning into it. And then I had people say, what is your sweet potato recipe? And then I said,
you do sweet potato pies?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
sweet potato pie and banana pudding.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you.
We gotta
I'm trusted with Thanksgiving.
Holidays, we have to exchange sweet potato pies.
I'm trusted with it.
Is your banana pudding from scratch, though? No box pudding?
No.
It's from scratch?
Yeah.
Over the stove?
Oh, no, honey. Not in the stove, but...
No, over the oven.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say, hold on. If you're talking about the 1956... We got to come back.
I love it, yes.
But
yes, we gonna... Yes,
people saw me in them.
Yes.
And they said, you know what? Ladora is not always in the lashes. Because social media, what happens is that one click, picture perfect.
Yes.
But they don't see the 15, 20 pictures that we said, get that angle, do over there.
Yes.
And that is when my crowd changed.
Yeah.
Because they said, she's one of us.
Yeah, she's one of us. It is about relatability. I have to remind myself of that too, because I had to unlearn a lot of the perfectionism culture of medicine. And, you know, with medicine, the journey of medicine is like, it's straight A's only. You need to know all the answers. You better memorize that textbook. And that's something now that I'm in entrepreneurship and out of the healthcare system and have my own, you know, culture and community, I can just strip away a lot of that. So I'm learning how to strip away a lot of that and be like, Jay, you don't have to be perfect. You can have hard days. You can share the sweet potato pie in the apron without the bonnet though. But you can share those things and that's dope too. So I'm still learning that. And so hopefully I can share more and more of that along my journey. But, you know, I was really trained for 15 years to be perfect, period. You know, or you ain't called to be a doctor. That's just how it was.
And see, I was the whole opposite. Since I was a child, I went against the grain. I spoke up. I don't know why, but I said God chose me. I spoke up when I felt something was wrong. My sister is older than me. She would say, oh my gosh, she's saying this again. I'm like, yeah. I spoke up. Anybody can tell you, I believe in just being there unapologetic. Even in my world, coming here, I was nervous because let's be honest, we are the underdogs when it comes to women in real estate, being a minority. And the first time I got red hair, I said, is people going to judge me? Am I going to be considered, that unwanted? Nope. My clients love it. The people around me love it and everything. When I speak and I say, this is what I'm faced with. This is different challenges in real estate. But what I love is I created bonds with some of the most fabulous people. And they use their voice to also bring more awareness of it.
And I love that you share some of the cultural aspects. I mean, we could go on and on about that in medicine, but, you know, even switching from my hair straight to braids and things like that, it's like, okay. But now I'm just so free to be like, look, it's going to get it. It's going to switch. Just prepare yourself. It's going to switch. It's going to look different. But the freedom of not walking into a space where I'm questioned all day long. That's you, Dr. Norris? Oh, I didn't realize. Tell me about that. How long did that take? Like, it's nice to have a company where I don't have to.
Or the touch. Or you're like,
yeah, but it's so nice to have a company where I don't have to deal with that. And I can create a culture of diversity and just how beautiful that is. So that's so free. I love that along this journey. So that goes all into our building, our business, and our brands, right? But we know about how social media has grown. But do you have a specific social media strategy, especially for your business in this season?
Yes, in this season, I actually just slowed down my social media because I am going to start doing more professional content. Before I did it myself, but now as my clientele grow and that price point grow, and thankful that I've also changed companies, Now I'm like, okay, what do my clients look at and everything? I try to give the full house tours. They don't want to see it. They want to see under 30 seconds. You know, let's see it. What do it offer? So building that piece, even having the tools alongside. Somebody call and say, hey, Ladora, I'm looking in Summerlin, but I want a house that's $700,000-800,000. Already having the links go in. Or I'm looking in Southern Highlands. I'm looking in Sky Canyon. I tell about these, but now what I'm doing is why you should live in these communities. Nice. What communities offer what areas? Where are you going to get your money to go farther for? I just had a client come to me. They wanted to spend no more than $550 with a pool in a single story.
Yeah.
And the first thing they said was Summerlin. And I said, no, come back. We go a little bit more north, even Aliante. I can get it. So now my season of my marketing is saying, this is where you're going to get this price point. Did you know about the Water District in Henderson? Do you know about Lake Las Vegas? If you're retiring, do you play golf? Going to Canyon Gate. So showing more of Las Vegas, where before I only showed the homes. Now I'm saying it's more than the Strip.
Yes.
My colleagues are in town right now. Yesterday I took her to downtown Summerlin, and then tomorrow we're going to Lake Las Vegas. But then we're going to go to Sky Canyon for the farmers market when they're still here next week. And I want to show that Vegas is not the Strip. We have a life. We are so much more where culture is building. We're building into the mountains now.
Yes.
There's so many new developments coming that people don't know. Amazon bought up 300 acres.
Wow.
We have a movie theater production that's about to come.
Yeah.
The Water District is coming.
Yeah.
The money
Our sports teams.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The A's,
it's a lot.
Everything is coming. The Aces, shout out to them.
Yes.
They are killing the game right now. They are the only, literally, WNBA team has sold out every. Wow. So if anybody got tickets, let me know. I want to go to one game.
Shout out to my patient. I remember our Inspire primary care member who gave me their seats right up front at an Aces game. I was like, I love my people. I love our members. But yes, amazing. So, I love what you said in that answer, though, that you started with your content, at just one point, and now it's transitioned to a team. And that's what I want y'all to know. Like, this podcast you're listening to, and if you're on YouTube and you're getting all the fabulousness of Ladora right now, you need to be watching on YouTube. Join us, subscribe at Dr. JMD. But it started off, y'all. This podcast started off with me, my iPhone, a little app, in my closet at my house. So like the first, 30 plus episodes, there's no video because I was in my closet with my iPhone and I was like, God has called me to do a podcast. I don't know a team yet. Don't think I can afford a team yet, but I do have an iPhone in my pocket and I do have a closet and my clothes make a padded studio sound and it's going to have some good audio and I can do it in my PJs after I put my girls to bed. And we just started with that. And now we've got a studio and now we started having a team. And so it can evolve over time. Like literally just start, ladies.
You know what you did? You started with faith.
Yes.
You started
That's
with
everything
faith.
In my journey.
You started with faith. You didn't know how you were going to do it, but you trusted it and you took it step by step.
Yeah.
And that is the definition of our entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Is faith, because you can't see it. You can't see where it's going to go. But you got to believe.
Absolutely.
So I commend you.
Oh, thank you. And I commend you too. Just starting and having the faith and then being consistent. I think though, like really sums up what we're talking about in this episode. Okay, so since you are the expert in all things real estate, I need to know what are some tips for the ladies who want to grow their business and brand, but also want to tap into real estate?
Okay, first things first is understanding the loan programs. I am not going to lie. In the beginning, I was just like, okay, you want to buy a house? Go to my lender. Understanding the loan, because every loan is going to be different. Mm-hmm. You're going to have clients that may only be able to save 3.5%. But then you're going to have clients that says, I got $100,000 in my pocket. It's burning a hole. Understanding that there are more loans out there, like the bank statement loans. I love the bank statement loans. I have clients. Bank statement loans for people who haven't filed their taxes just yet. Mm-hmm. Let me make that clear. Mm-hmm. Getting you a solid lender. If you're trying to get into real estate, your lender can make or break the deal.
Okay.
Because every lender is not created equally. One lender that can do FHA for first-time home buyers, they may not be great at serving veterans. They may not be great for people like you who's an entrepreneur that may, just started a practice a couple of years ago. And we have doctor, loans for that. Is so many. Understanding your brand, that every step that you take and elevate, you're going to have to change yourself.
Yeah.
We all want to say, I haven't changed. No, we have. We grew. So with growing, now we may not be able to serve the other people we used to, but having a business partner that can. And the reason I say that is because I love to say I serve everybody, but I serve the people that want to do the work.
Yeah.
So if you come to me and you say, hey, I want this, I can do it. But the biggest thing is understanding the terms, but then the market. There's 3 different types of market. Right now, we're in a seller's market. We're still low on houses. So if I have a house that's $600,000, no, you cannot offer $525 on that house.
Right.
So understanding the market and being able to stay comfortable in the beginning. This is the market. This is what you can expect. But knowing who you are, real estate is changing, and understanding your worth as well. Because there's going to be people that says, I do not want to pay you because you only open a door. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I work 50 to 60 hours on a transaction. You may not see it, but I do. Because I'm the one calling the lender. I call the title. And then when you're building a brand, it's important to incorporate all that information into that brand. Because people come to me, they know what I have to offer. So when I say I charge X amount, it's no negotiation. This is the reason I charge it.
You're the right fit. They already know that you're the right fit, right?
My home buyer's guide is 23 pages.
Yeah.
My
so
seller's guide is 23 pages.
Yeah. So you have to know the quality speaks for itself, and the people you're called to serve, they're not penny pitching. They're like, I'm ready to work with you.
They're right, and they're not listening to mama, daddy, auntie, uncles.
Yes, and Google. For me, it's Dr. Google MD. I'm like, it's okay. TikTok, I know TikTok has some good information, but when you're ready for high quality, you know where to go. So, okay, do you have a different tip for home buyers versus a real estate investor?
Absolutely, because home
Or someone who
buyers,
wants to get into real estate investing?
real estate investors, I would say the first tip is to know the difference between cash flow and equity building.
Okay.
Every city is not going to give you a cash flow, and every city is not going to be equity building. Las Vegas, I love it, but with like the mortgage rates, you're putting down 20-25%. The mortgage rates, you're probably more so not going to get that immediate cash flow. You have to be in the long term. You have to want to say, you know what, I'm going to have this for a couple of years, and then you'll get it. But if you're looking to get a mortgage at $2,800, but then you want to get a profit of $2,000,
right,
where are we getting that at?
Got it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we need to get together with a realtor like you who knows both aspects. If it's your first home or your primary residence versus your real estate investing, like just get with a professional that's quality. So then you'll be steered in the right. So you'll be steered in the right direction. Okay, this is a question we ask everybody who comes to the She Inspires podcast. How are you balancing business and wellness lately?
I learned to put myself first. If I am not healthy, and that's such a good question, if I am not healthy mentally, spiritually, and physically, I can't be my best for my clients. Yeah. So I do Pilates twice a week. When I'm not doing Pilates, I walk 3 to 5 miles. It's either in the morning or it's in the evening. I cut my phone off. I listen to a podcast, or I listen to a book. I'm more in tune. Turning 35 in a couple of weeks, I'm more in tune in my body. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, no, I need my water intake. I actually juice now. Yeah. So I go to Costco's. I get my oranges. I get the pineapples. I get the kiwis. I juice. I put that as a priority because there is something when you put everybody else first, you're not going to be able to be here long term. Yeah. It can work, but what happens when you're in a hospital? And in my business, I'm not sure about you, in my business, if I'm not able to be there, guess what? They go to someone else. Right. And I tell all my clients, I love you, but in the morning or in the evening around 6:30, I'm walking. I need to circulate my legs, that blood. I need to stretch and everything. In the morning, I try to take, my vitamins. I'm more in tune. I do try to get my 3 meals in. And I'm looking at, okay, well, how much fat is that? How much sodium? I'm learning my body now. And it's because of you. I'm like, okay, you mentioned the other day that we should be getting a full blood test every year. And I said, should we? Yes. Oh, Lord God.
Annual labs for every adult. Yes. And I know you love your husband for your wellness recommendations, but we are at the age where we need a quality, personalized primary care physician. Okay, even if it's not me.
But even then, I said, James, we have to do this. Yes. So we're looking at our schedule like, okay, we just went to the dentist. I made him a dentist appointment. I went the next day he went. And he didn't even know he was going.
Yes, I know. Most of the healthcare for men is because they're wives. get it scheduled for them. I love that. So it sounds like you have a great personalized wellness plan in this season, and that's really what I try to encourage to people. Like, customize a wellness plan that works for you to allow it to be consistent in this season so that we can just be working towards longevity. So where can the She Inspires fam find you on socials?
They can find me on Instagram at Vegas Realtor John. Literally, Vegas Realtor and John. JAWN. That is just homage to Philly. You can take the girl out of Philly, but you can't take the Philly out the girl.
Yes.
On TikTok, it's just Ladora J Fields. That's all. I haven't graduated to YouTube yet. I'm going, but I do have my handle. It is Ladora J Fields as well. But across the border, Ladora J Fields.
But Instagram is your main platform, and give it to us one more time. Where can they find you on IG?
Vegas Realtor John, JAWN.
Perfect. I hope you enjoyed this episode on building your business and your brand. We love to have you at the She Inspires podcast. I love to hear from you. So drop a review. Let us know how we're doing. Join us on our Instagram fam. Become a part of that on Instagram at Dr. Jade MD. Join our YouTube page at Dr. Jade MD. Subscribe. Share the podcast and this episode with other busy professional women balancing business and wellness and trying to grow a business they love and a brand that also feeds into that business they love. I can't wait to see you all on the next episode of She Inspires Podcast.
It must mean I'm not the job. It must mean I'm not the same. It must mean I'm on your case. For me.